They said that Ghanaians don't need the sort of homes that developers are building. What they need is that they want affordable single room, chamber and hall, not the type of high rise that is happening that...
Can you buy a land in Cantonment for $1 million and build what you are talking about? I'm asking you. Real estate is very expensive because building materials are very expensive.
It's not because the developers are greedy.
No.
For let's say 400,000 cedis, can you build a 3-bedroom property somewhere in Mampong?
You know,
Lands in Accra is deadly to deal with. How did you get into real estate?
we don't buy land in Ghana. We acquire interest in a land.
Educate them on the process of acquiring that land.
First of all, you need to... Real estate is not expensive in Ghana. It is expensive in Accra.
It's expensive in Eburi.
When you take people, you are driving people to site. Once you take above 30 minutes or 20 minutes, they are shouting, it's far. People have high appetite, they don't have the resources. I've always wanted to be successful in life so that I can impact society.
Why have you always wanted to be successful in life? What did you see growing up?
For 4 to 5 generations, my family has been poverty upon poverty. Do you like poverty? Tell me.
Most of the people I've spoken to about real estate either traveled abroad, came back with capital, and then we sat down and had a conversation. But today I have somebody who's homegrown. He started from Ghana, here, Danny Angels. He owns Royal Kingdom Estate. Now that company has done many millions in turnover, helped a lot of people in the diaspora to buy properties. But today, I really want him to take us through how, one, the average Ghanaian can own a property, and then two, how the average young Ghanaian can get himself into real estate. Because actually, we still have a lot of home deficit, and we believe that more people will be better. My name is Derek Abaite, and today is Connected Minds Podcast, one of our episodes. And if it's your first time watching it, please subscribe and be part of the family. And listen, to my regular people who usually come here, if you make it to the end, I definitely want to know in the comments. And while you're watching, you can make some notes in the comments as well. On the 9th of September is when we're going to Kumasi for Connected Minds Live. 1,600 young people, aspiring entrepreneurs, are going to be under one roof. We will converge at the KNUST Great Hall. Grab a ticket, is in the description. Now, if you're not part of our WhatsApp community as well, I'm going to put the details in the description. Then you can join over 20,000 people in several WhatsApp groups that listen to Connected Minds and get value. Now, stick with me while I interview Danny Angels, CEO and founder of Royal Kingdom. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you too?
Man, you look good.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, I love the way you look.
Thank you so much.
Is it Ghanaian made?
Yes, Ghana made.
How about I start wearing something like this? Okay, so I have a few things here, right? I really want you to take us through some of the things that we can do to buy a home, and then also the young people that want to start real estate, how they can do that. But I have to read this. And the first one is going to start with, actually, you know what? How did you start real estate?
So first of all, Derek, let me use this opportunity to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. Let me say that real estate is the only opportunity that you have to leave a legacy on this earth. Now, land in itself, there is no economic activity in this world that can thrive without land. Where are we now? We are in a real estate infrastructure. Tech hubs, where do they build their hubs? In a real estate infrastructure. So land and real estate is the foundation of what? Wealth creation and wealth preservation. That would be my first absolute statement I'll make. Do you agree with that?
No, I get it, yeah.
Okay. How I started real estate, I would say that, Derek, real estate chose me. I didn't choose real estate. From 2008, I have been taking a shot at entrepreneurship. My first entrepreneurship, I have an expansive experience in hospitality, in fashion, in retail, and in commodity. So I've always wanted to be successful in life so that I can impact society.
All right, I'll pause you there. Why have you always wanted to be successful in life? What did you see growing up?
Do you like poverty?
No, I don't think there's anybody that does.
So, you know, the world we live in is an economic environment. The bigger your muscles in economic, the more powerful you're going to be. Wars are being fought with gun, but it's actually economic war. So economic emancipation, which in its sense for the African or for the African youth is what is going to empower you, is not only the absence of money. People think poverty is only the absence of money. In fact, you can be poor but have a rich mindset.
When you were poor, did you have rich mindset?
I'll tell you a story. When I was growing up, I detected very early at a young age that rich people don't like associating with poor people. Why so? It is not the absence of money. You can come from a less socio-economic background and be richer than somebody with money. So I have always made the effort.
You're going to have to break it down. And I'll tell you why you have to break it down. There was a time I was in a taxi, and this taxi driver was playing one of Prakash's videos where he says that poverty is not just the absence of money. Very similar to what you've said. And the guy could not agree. He was really upset. So that means that there are a lot of people who will be watching this video. And what you just said, they will need you to explain it a bit more. How can somebody be rich when they don't have money?
Well, if you just have money and you don't have the right principles, success is a formula. And this formula can vary from time to time and from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Now, there are basic fundamentals that you can see from somebody, even though they may not have money, you will know that this person is going to be successful. One, how ambitious are they? How diligent are they at their work? How do they invest time in personal growth? Which is very key. You must be your biggest critic. Let nobody be your critic. Always take stock of your life daily, hourly, minute by minute to ask yourself, what are the formulas that have worked for people? So once you have a rich mindset, it's just a matter of time. A man with integrity, a man who is diligent at their job or their work, a man who takes their time seriously. Have you seen one of them not become successful? They are very relational. They are not transactional. They build relationship. And above all, they look at the bigger picture, which is tomorrow. They don't just behave and act as of today. They think about the bigger picture. Now, let me go back to real estate. When I was growing up, from a very young age, and popular to contrary opinion, I am not from a very wealthy home. There are 4 established theories that I have thought about as at the time we were growing up that you can become successful. 1 is through inherited wealth. 2 is through politics. 3 is to travel abroad and come back and invest some money here. And the 4th one is what we call 419. Have you heard of 419 before? We call 419 or fraud. But Derek, I, at a younger age, always knew that I didn't have any of those options. The only thing my dad had, as I remember, asset, was a bicycle. Let me start by saying that I'm a disruptor. Disruptors are visionaries. Visionaries are abnormal people. Abnormal people disrupt the rhythm that has been set for them. Why am I saying so? For 4 to 5 generations, my family has not seen wealth. It's been poverty upon poverty. So if you want to change the status quo, if you want to change the narrative, you must do things differently.
Now, what are some of the things that you have to do differently?
You have to become intentional about your life. You have to take your education seriously. When I say education, I'm not talking about classroom education. One of the things that I have benefited from is my ability to open my spirit, to learn from people. And to the youth, if you want to be successful, don't compete with people you are supposed to be learning from. Humility would allow you to open up your spirit and be able to understand and learn processes and don't cut corners. So from a young age, I've been very, 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 very industrious. If you send me to somewhere to go and buy a piece of item, I'm going to do it. I will charge you. And if you want me the next day, I will go again. Whilst my friends were playing soccer and enjoying themselves, I was always doing something entrepreneurial. I was always doing something to advance my cause. But you know why? Some of us who are from a low socioeconomic background, we have advantage.
What's the advantage?
Why do we have advantage? Because you have endured poverty. You have seen the pain. What should spur you on? What should spur you on is the pain, is the things you go through, waking up and not knowing what to eat, your parents struggling to pay your school fees. That should spur you on. So there's this natural hunger that some of us who come from a low socioeconomic background have.
But Danny, there are young people who are probably more hungrier than you were at the time when you were not this version of Danny.
Yes, so you have to first of all understand your calling. And once there is clarity, I call it clarity, it's very important to know why you're on this earth. Every young person, everybody must ask themselves, why am I on this earth? I don't believe that there's a giftless person in this world. Everybody has an element of gift. Everybody has some element of value they can deliver to this world. The foundational rule of success is to identify what you think you can do. You don't make a living out of your weakness. You make a living out of your what? Your strength. So tap into your strength. There's somebody who is an orator. Why are you struggling in the sciences? There's somebody who can just do menial jobs. Why are you fighting to be a scholar when that is clearly not cut out for you? So once you have clarity, you know what you are called to do, then you follow through. So I would say that what helped me was that at a very young age, I want to be extremely influential. I wasn't chasing money, but I said to myself, I'm going to change the trajectory, the story of my family.
Okay. Now, if I start off with our real estate conversation, how did you get into real estate?
Like I said, real estate chose me. I didn't choose real estate. So, quick background about myself. I've done hospitality. I've done retail. I've done mining, a bit of mining. I've been in fashion. We used to buy gold and sell. This was 2008. And my first really shot at business was to buy yam from the north and sell to the market women in Mokola.
Okay.
At the time, I was working. So all the, savings that I've made, I partnered with a couple of guys who go there and then buy the yam. Unfortunately, it didn't go well because the people I trusted, they were just not prudent enough. And we lost a lot of money. I went into fashion entrepreneur. I was a fashion entrepreneur. I focused more on garment, making garment for corporate institutions, and also doing a bit of African print, African designs. Now, one day, a friend of mine told me that he has a friend who owns a parcel of land, about 5 acres. Mind you, I've always been ambitious. So there were 3 industries that I have set out that if I have the opportunity, God gives the opportunity, I'm going to go in there because you have to study people's trajectory. So let's look at all the professions. If I want to be in this profession, what I do or what I did at the time was to first of all look at the best performing person in that area. Do I want to be like them? If I look at their lifestyle, I look at their condition, is that the life I want for myself? So I told myself, nope, I love real estate. I love tech, as a tech entrepreneur, agribusiness, and telecommunication. So when the guy told me that this man has a parcel of land that he was selling and he was struggling to sell, I said, well, I'm going to help him. Derek, people underestimate the ability to sell. Sales is the number one skill set. I bet you, your wife, did you not sell yourself to her? Did you not propose to her? Did you not endear yourself to her? You did.
No comment.
Tell me. So even women taking care of yourself, men taking care of yourself, going to the gym, work out, be hygienic, all that is applicable to life's principle. It's a product. We are all products. We brand ourselves in a way that will be appreciated and accepted by society. So sales, people joke with sales. You don't need capital to go into business.
Hey, this statement, if somebody doesn't beat you in the comments.
Yes, I'll explain.
All right.
I'll explain, and after that, all of them will be my friends.
Okay, all right, let's go.
So, for example, when the opportunity came, what I did was to sell the property for the man.
How did you do it?
How did I do it? you have to have a very good relationship with people if you want to be successful in life. In every career, be deliberate about living in harmony with people. The first property I sold for the man was for my welder, the guy who was working on my car. I spoke to him within 2 weeks. He had purchased a couple of plots. But he did that because he trusts me. So integrity is very, very key in business.
Yeah, you know, a lot of business people say this about integrity being the key in business. But do you genuinely believe that people at the top of the ladder have that level of integrity you speak about?
Yes and no. I mean, obviously, like I always say, you can't have 100%. But there are people who are, men or women of integrity in this country who have done amazingly well. So I think that without integrity, you're not going to survive. You can make some quick money. Money can come to you today. Look at me. 2008 was my first shot. And with a strong sales and marketing background, I sold off all those land for the person.
Apart from the welder you spoke with, because I really want people to
friends, families, they trust me. So once I go to them, and I gave them a very good package. I told the man that if you want to sell, what you have to do is to do a payment plan.
Where did you learn that from?
It's a natural. I've been in business. My auntie, at the age of 16, I was managing my auntie's supermarket in the Volta region. I grew up in the Volta region. I was managing that. She used to go to convention, leave the shop for me for 5 to 10 days. I take care of the shop, send the money to the bank. My auntie had so much confidence in me as at a younger age to the extent that when I'm going to school, I have to take the money, like the school fees or whatever it is. I have to take it myself. My auntie does not give me money. She will say, Danny, go and take it. So again, when I say you have to demonstrate from childhood that you possess mind of riches, it is not only about being ambitious. You must not have a scarcity mindset. So I was diligent at 7. And I will also say that a diligent servant is a potential master. Look at it. Every servant, everybody that has served well, most of them became great masters. So I was able to sell this plot of land. And then I enjoyed the commission. The commission was one of the nicest money I've ever enjoyed. It was so great. It was awesome. Have you enjoyed commission before? So I told myself, this could work. So I had some friends who were top police officers in the country, and they mentioned that they would introduce me to a gentleman who owns large parcels of land. And because of my...
Let me stop you here for a minute. So if it's your first time watching Connected Minds, or you have been here before but still have not subscribed, do us a favor, because majority of the people that watch our videos have not subscribed. This doesn't help us grow beyond what we expect. So help us by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you. Now let's get back to the conversation.
Because I'm able to sell, what they're going to do is that they themselves own parcels of land that they have bought as an institution, and they want me to help them to sell. So what I did was to begin to write proposal with no capital. I was leveraging on my sales and marketing ability. I wrote proposal to the security agencies, to the manufacturing industries. What I did was to sell thousands of acres. So let's say 500 acres. Derek offers me 500 acres. I sign an MOU with you. I pitch it to the welfare department of these industries. So some of them have as much as 1,000 staff, 500 staff. Then they buy and then they deduct at source. The HR will get them to buy and deduct at source. So let's say you are selling a plot of land for 2,000 or let's say 5,000 cedis. And you have 1,000 people who have subscribed to it, and you get your money straight from the HR.
Did you know that many people?
Yes. Once you have good integrity and you relate well with people, some of these things are just inevitable. I remember going to the immigration office. I just went there. I didn't know anybody. I was, I'm very confident. You have to believe in yourself. I'm very confident in my abilities to do well for myself from a relatively young age. I also believe that for people who are destined to do great things, they are very daring. They don't fear failure. You better do something and fail than to sit down and procrastinate.
Look, you sold the first set of lands.
Yes.
Then you've gotten more lands.
Yes.
But did you know anything about real estate at all?
No, I have no knowledge. In fact, everything I've learned about real estate, I've learned it on the job.
Right, how did you know that this plot of land in front of me is well vetted? How do you even do your due diligence? What process did you go through?
What I did, one thing I'll say also is that in life, you have to learn to share. You have to learn to share. You have to allow people to enjoy from your success.
Okay.
So what I did was to protect my integrity, I involved professionals like lawyers.
And where did you get the money to pay them?
No, I didn't pay them. So what I did was because I have got, people trust me. Some people led me to some lawyers and said, this guy is going to do well. When he does well, he will pay you success fee. So I get them to do the due diligence for me. I've got some police people who do their investigations. We've got lawyers who have done deep investigations into due diligence, deep due diligence. And once they pass it, I push it to the various industries. Don't forget, all these industries have legal department. And this legal department will only approve the transaction when they have done top-notch due diligence. So when they've done it, it started moving well. They paid. People were paying. But you see, contentment, I'll say contentment is an enemy of progress. And I see that a lot where young people begin to see money and they become content. I wasn't content. Someone told me at the time that those who sell land don't use their money for anything. So he doesn't believe that I was going to use my money for anything very substantial in society. For me, if you want to get the best out of me, doubt me. I love doubting Thomases. So what I did was to challenge myself that every year, every property I sold, I need to own an asset. I need to invest somewhere that I can look back and say, the transaction I did with Derek, this is the result. Now, my dream was always to be an entrepreneur because, you see, entrepreneurship, I believe, should be taught right from primary school all the way to the tertiary institution. You know why? I will say this emphatically. Every profession, every industry, if you do not go there with an entrepreneurial mindset, I didn't say an entrepreneur, I said entrepreneurial mindset, you are not going to be able to deliver the sort of value you are supposed to deliver in society. Let me explain. There's a difference between legal profession and legal business. There's a difference between medical institution and a medical business or healthcare. Some people are just very good doctors, but they could have transformed into what? Entrepreneurship. Now, a lot of people don't value customer service because to them, they don't understand. So what I did was to ensure that I take care of my client. Derek, I used to go to people's homes in the morning, iron their dresses, and then get them into my car, drive them to site. I started real estate from the bush. So I'm a grassroots person. I have literally grown along the journey. I have learned through the process. I've sold thousands of acres. I've sold all these properties to these institutions. Then I told myself, if I could sell this as an agent, then I can set up my office and employ people. Now, don't forget that at this time, I had made enough commission. So I then got an office. And guess what? My first employee, like I said, I'm a disruptor. It takes a certain level of abnormality and visionary thinking to change your story. I was just going to eat lunch. I was going to have lunch. And I saw a young lady on the road and I said, hi, what's your name? He said, my name is Michelle. And I said, what do you do? He said, I'm a teacher. What's your salary? She mentioned, and I said, I'm going to double it for you. I want you to work in this office. I went to see, she took me to the mom. I went to speak to the mom, just close to the office, and she started working with me as a first secretary. Derek, from that one staff, in the last 9 years, as I'm seated here, I employed over 800, at the last count, over 849 staff. But you see, all this thing happened because I believed in myself. We are not born on this continent to suffer. The opportunities here are endless. Now, we know there are exogenous factors beyond us that affect us that we are not able to do. But you see, You can only try. Give it a try. Don't be pessimistic. Those who told me, oh, you are selling land, they are going to shoot you, they will kill you, you will die.
But have you not faced your fair share of the challenges of trying to sell lands?
So life in itself is a challenge.
Yeah.
When our parents were giving birth to us, did not they go through pain?
They did, yeah.
It tells you that once you are born, pain is supposed to be an ally. I face all those adversities.
What are some of the ones you faced?
Obviously, we have litigation issues. I have bought land, 100 acres, and I've lost all before. My staff has been attacked on site before, but we still keep going on. We will not give up. People see the beautiful side of it. We dress well, we look good, so they think that's what it is. You have to be bold. You have to understand that life in itself is not fair. It's not going to be fair to anybody.
Land in Accra is deadly to deal with. I have had people who tell me that they would rather buy somebody's house than buy a land in Accra. How have you dealt with it? How do you deal with the challenges on the lands? How do you deal with them?
So what we have done is to work with the professionals. And we have about 5 law firms that we work with. So I will take the opportunity to educate people on some of these things. So if you want to acquire land, whether for individual project or for massive industrial or commercial purpose, the first thing you need to do, obviously, is establish that you need to get the professionals. And Royal Kingdom Estate, what we have done is to spend enough time to learn and understand the industry. People say if you want to go into real estate, what is the number one thing to look for? Is it money? Is it capital? No. Invest in knowledge. If you have enough information.
And where are you going to get that knowledge from?
It's available. It's online. I mean, lawyers are online, YouTube, educating. You can just type today, land acquisition. You see tons of videos.
Yes, but you see, there's the formal way of doing it and there's the informal way. Today, I want you to talk me through both of them. There are people who may not be able to come to you.
Yeah.
So still educate them.
Yes.
On the process of acquiring that land. So because maybe they are in some small village.
So first of all, you need to visit the land. Mm-hmm. You need to first of all define the purpose of acquiring the property. And in this case, let's do land. Why do you want to buy the land? Okay, you want to build a home. Go and see the land. Is the land somewhere in some forest that will develop after 20 years? If that is it, is that where you want? So define it. What is the duration I want to develop this place? Okay, I'm in America, I want to live in this place in 5 years. Now, speak to the expert. There's one area that people speak to property expert to advise you, okay, this place, what are the emerging areas? You get a location, you find owners of land or vendors, you then request for proof of ownership.
What are we looking at?
Proof of ownership is the title to the property.
What if they don't have the title, but
they may not have it, but they may have oral history. If they have oral history, we call it customary ownership, right? They have the allodial title. Most allodial title, I'll go through the interest in land very soon. Allodial is like the supreme title that people have. Some of them don't register it. They may not even have any registration at Lands Commission, but they own it and there's no litigation. But you can only do this if you employ the professionals to do the due diligence. So you go there in the night, you speak to people, you go behind them. If they don't have that, you then go to the Lands Commission, conduct your search. It will give you all the history of the land, right from the 18th to the 60s. It will give you all the history. Once you have the history, go to the district assembly because you want to buy the land for a special purpose. Can you imagine that the place has been zoned for industrial?
Or it's a government vested land?
We'll go there. They are selling it to you as a residential property. So go to the district assembly, present the plan. They have a scheme. Let them superimpose it and see where it falls. They will advise you.
Man, that's a lot of work for one plot of land.
Well, you have to invest. You see, it's better to invest and get it right than to spend years in litigation. So do the right things from the beginning. And oftentimes people think land is like just buying tomato or egg on the shelf. It's a lifelong investment. And this is a commodity that is so cherished. Everybody wants to have a piece of it in Ghana now. Because I'll give you a data. Before independence, Ghana has less than 6 million people. What's the population of Ghana today?
Today is well over 34 million.
The size of land that was there before creation is the same size of land that is here. A friend of mine was joking that God has stubbornly stopped creating more land. So the same size that is there. So take your time, do your things right, because it's a lifelong investment. It's a generational investment. So once you finish from the municipal assembly and everything checks the box, go to the courts. If it's within Greater Accra, go to the court, the circuit, go to the various courts. Conduct a search, because you may see the records at Lands Commission. Everything will be okay. You may go to the assembly, everything is okay. You may even go to the locals and they will tell you this person indeed owns the land. But they may have mortgaged it, one. They may have also, in litigation with somebody. So if they are in litigation and they come and sell it to you, it means that you are not able to work on the land. So you have to use multiple approach. Now, if everything checks the box and you like the land, I will advise that you make a percentage, a fraction of the payment. Somebody will say, what about the small? If I make the small and I pay, no, it's a risk. Life is a risk in itself. So take the risk. Make it substantial. It could be 10%. Agree with them in the contract, in the sale and purchase agreement, that you want to test the land for at least 8 weeks. Derek, if you take a grader to somebody's land for 8 weeks, even 2 days, the rival claimant, because some people rival claimant, those who have interest in the land, they will come on the land. If after 8 weeks, no rival claimant comes, then you can go ahead and make the payment, get your document. By that time, you may have constructed something on the wall. You have tested the land. Because land is a tangible commodity. So once you've done all the grading, there are no issues, bingo, you proceed, you make your payment, depending on the payment arrangement that you have with the grantors, you pay, and then you have your document, and then you proceed to the Lands Commission to register. Now, let's look at the various interests in land. Let me bust a couple of myths here. There's no law in Ghana that states the duration upon which you should be, the interest in which you should have in the land. Let me explain. There's no legislation that says that you should be granted 99 years, 30 years, 40 years. It's an agreement between you and your grantor as at what they want to give you.
I see.
Number two, you don't give what you don't have. You have to give what you have. So first of all, like I said, establish what sort of interest your grantor have. Number three, let me bust another myth. We don't buy land in Ghana. We acquire interest in a land. What is interest? Now, this interest is in categories. We have one that we call the Allodial title. Allodial, I guess, is a German word which means totality, supreme title. It's vested in families, in stools, in clans, and sometimes skins, because in the north, the chiefs don't sit on a stool. They sit on a skin. If you come to the south, the chiefs sit on a stool. Now, we have the Allodial title, which is vested in the stool, clan heads, skin heads, and I learned that I've discovered one yesterday. It said Tindanas. Tindanas are in the upper west. Now, that Allodial title is the overall title or interest you can own in land. It is within that one that every other interest is created.
I see. Okay.
Now, after that Allodial title, we then come to what we call customary usufructory interest. Who is a usufruct? A usufruct is an indigent. So let's say Derek is from Akimoda. If Derek acquires an interest in land in Akimoda, your interest is deemed as usufructory interest. Contrary to what people think, once you acquire a usufructory interest, it becomes a freehold. The freehold interest actually comes before the usufructory. And let's explain the freehold. Freehold means you own the land to perpetuity. You don't have reversionary interest to anybody, And in 1969, 22nd August 1969, a legislation was passed that freehold land is abolished in Ghana. I don't know why the framers of the Constitution did that, but I thought that they want a land to rotate in a cycle. So the 99 years that people talk about is an adopted convention from the common law, because Ghana, we practice common law. It's a British system. So common law, they do 99 years. So, but there's no law in Ghana that says that give 99 years. That's why in the primary years, you see a lot of developers are giving 50 years interest, 60 years interest. Now let's stay with the freehold. So that freehold interest, people, they've banned it. You cannot grant it today. But if you acquire land before 1969, you have a freehold interest, you can still grant that freehold interest. And the allodial interest is also a freehold. So if you have it, or you've acquired interest, your family, for instance, have acquired a freehold interest before 1969, you can still grant it. Usufruct, which we spoke about, it means you are an indigent of the place. Somebody will be like, okay, if I acquire a usufruct interest, which is maybe 99 years, they've given me a 99 years. What happens after 99 years, after I'm dead and gone? What happens to my generation or my descendant? Now, the law is beautiful. People, today we are going to learn a whole lot of things, and we are going to bust a lot of myths. If you are an indigent, the law says that your land must be automatically renewed for you at the same terms. So if you acquire land in Akemoda, if I acquire land from the Volta region where I'm from, after 99 years, the land does what? Automatically reverses back to you on the same terms.
By same terms, is it the same value you purchased it for as well?
That's what the law says.
Man, that's a lot of money.
No, it says no, the same terms. The same time you acquired it 99 years ago.
Yeah. So if I paid $300,000 for that plot,
yes,
that means that
it's the same.
my
But
children are
gained.
going to pay $300,000.
No, you have gained 99 years.
Right.
After 99 years, the time value of money, inflation would have eaten that money. It would have been peanut. Now, we go to the leasehold. Who can grant a leasehold? Those with a freehold interest. It could be the state. It could be individuals. It could be clans. It could be stools. It could be skins who owns the allodial title or who have freehold interest. Mm-hmm. And let me also correct by also saying that the freehold interest can be owned by the state. Okay. It can be owned by an individual. It can be owned by a skin. It can be owned by a clan. And it can be owned by a stool. Now, the leasehold, these are the characteristics of a leasehold. A leasehold has a commencement date and it has an expiration date.
Why?
So it means the land, you are leasing the interest in the land.
Okay.
Now, the law says that if you are a Ghanaian citizen, like I said earlier, you can lease as many years. And like I said, we've adopted the
99 years,
the common law, jurisprudence. So we are doing the 99 years. That's the maximum you can get. Now, let's stay there if you're a Ghanaian citizen. The law also says that they have to renew. The grantor has to renew, automatic renewal to you, a Ghanaian. So people who are crying, they are worried, I'm going to lose the land. We call them implied provisions, implied covenant within the law. So the vendor must not even state it. We call it what? Got it. Implied what? Provisions within the covenant. It's within the covenant. The covenant are the terms
that as soon as it expires, it must be renewed.
Yes, those are the implied.
But how much are we paying for it? That's what they
So now let's go to the Ghanaian citizen. We'll stay with the Ghanaian because we are coming to the non-Ghanaian. So the Ghanaian citizen have the same number of years. It has to be renewed for them. Is that not it? Mm-hmm. What you have to do is to agree on the terms as at the time you are signing the contract. You are signing your lease. So you are buying land today for 99 years. And it expires after 99 years. Somebody will ask, it's a stupid question. How do you draft how much I should pay after 99 years? I'll show you how you're supposed to do it. After the expiration of the 99 years, the actual valuation of the land, you only pay 5%. It is important to structure relationship It's a legal relationship. You have to structure it to prevent future dispute. And I advise people, when you are drafting contract, don't look at how beautiful the relationship is today. Look at the worst form of the relationship in 99 years. So you draft a contract thinking about how adversarial those parties could get to in future. So put in the clauses today. If after 99 years, obviously you don't know the value, you don't know how much it will be. But can you imagine just putting a clause to say, after the expiration, after the valuation of the current status, you only pay, your descendants should only pay 5%. That's beautiful. So put in the clause in there. Put it in there. Let it be there today. And people just take the document, blue in the armpit, I bought land, start flaunting it. Please read verbatim. Read everything that is in the contract. If you can't read, get a lawyer, get an assistant. You may pay something small. But like I said, land is or property that you are acquiring is an asset. It's a generational asset. So you are owning a piece of the earth. That is the most important investment. So guard it with all your might. Get the professionals to help you. Now, the non-citizen.
Yeah. So before you talk about the non-Ghanaians,
yes,
I would like to remind you that on the 9th of September, we are going to Kumasi for Connected Minds Live. And it's going to be a day where 1,600 aspiring and entrepreneurs will be under one roof. There's no better time to learn than to be under the same roof as people who think like you and are also on the path of greatness. So if you haven't got your ticket yet, check in the description and get one. And then also remember that you can also get the details of our communities in the description. So join it and be part of this amazing Connected Minds community. Now let's talk about the non-Ghanaians.
Now, our brothers and sisters, especially from the diaspora, and who are not Ghanaian citizens, let me bust another myth. Marriage alone or being married to a Ghanaian does not qualify you to maximum number of years interest in a property. You have to go through the process of becoming a Ghanaian citizen first before you can have the maximum number of years. Now, somebody will say, if a Ghanaian and a non-Ghanaian are jointly acquiring a property together, what interest should they have? So now, one is a Ghanaian, one is not a Ghanaian. If you, a Ghanaian, have gone to acquire a property and your contribution is 50% each, you have forfeited your Ghanaian interest. You get 50 years. So non-Ghanaians, and like I said, 1969, the legislation in 1969 says that non-citizens can only be given 50 years. Now, their 50 years, there's no automatic renewal. So what they have to do is to ensure they negotiate with the vendor and make sure that they have what? The terms of the renewal term stated in there. So, for example, you have up to 45 years renewal. Yeah. So 45 years renewal, at what rate? Again, like I said earlier, you could put in a clause that says that at the expiration of the 50 years, I'll pay 10% of the actual valuation of the property after 50 years. So technically, those in the diaspora, if you put in that clause, your 50 years becomes 95 years. And then that can be structured again. So automatically you are acquiring 50 years, but that 50 years is regulated. You know what you're going to pay, and it has become 95. 50 plus 45. So that's 95. Now, another way that they can also do it is to incorporate a company in Ghana. Now, it's tricky. What you can, 40% ownership, 40% shareholding, foreign, 60% Ghanaian shareholding. That entitles you to maximum number of interest. If it becomes 40 plus 1, it is deemed, the company is deemed as a foreign entity. Now, the company is a distinct from the individual, but the shareholding must be 60-40. The moment the foreign ownership crosses to 41, it becomes a foreign entity. So maybe your wife is, or your spouse is a Ghanaian, and you are non-Ghanaian, non-citizen Ghanaian, what you can do is to register your company. The shareholding should be 60-40. You can acquire a property and have 99 years. So that is the position of the law. Now, let's look at the interest that follows the lease. We have sublease. Sublease is a lessor. I've come to Derek, who owns a freehold. I have leased the land for 99 years. I want to sell to Kofi Mensah. I have to sublet it. Now, in doing that, the sublessee, potential sublessee is the one who is coming to purchase the interest from the lessor. This lessor cannot give you what they don't have. So we call something head lease. Head lease. You must take the head lease, go through it and see what is the residual interest left in the property. Derek has acquired 99 years. Maybe Derek has done 50 years. Now it is left with 49. Derek can only convey 49 years lease to me. He may have 99, but he has already exhausted 50 years out of it.
So he doesn't have 99 left.
Exactly. So that due diligence must also be done to ascertain that a lessor does not say, well, I have 99. And the lessor cannot grant you any covenant that they don't have within their own. So let's say they say the land can only be demised for agriculture. And then they sell it to you for real estate. That is breach of contract. The lessor's grantor will have a right to enter. So now, once the sub-lessor gives you all the documents, you've done all your due diligence, and yeah, okay, you are good to go. The last interest, which I'll speak about, last but one, is assignment. Assignment means the person is conveying everything that they have to you, which means that if I am a lessor and I've done an assignment interest for you, Derek, the reversionary interest, there's something called reversionary interest. It means that when the original lease expires, you go back to the Allodial owners.
Okay.
So let's say Derek has leased a land to Danny. Danny wants to sublet it to somebody, but Danny has decided to do an assignment. When the 99 years or whatever years is left is expired, I don't come back to you. I go to your grantor. So it's called assignment. So I'm assigning all my interest to you. We also have one type of interest, which is licensee. License. License is normally, I think it's less than 3 years. Those who, take the land for farming, they are called licensees.
Right.
And they don't have absolute possession over the land. They are just like, just farming on it, and they pay, they pay token to the owners of the land. So that closes the interest in land. And to just conclude, before we go to your topic, we have to also look at the various types of land. There's vested land.
Yep.
The vested land are lands that are owned by people or families or stools, Allodial owners, and it's vested in the state. That does not mean the state owns the land. They don't own the land. What the state, the power it has is to manage the land.
Can you still buy a vested land?
Yes, you can buy it, but it has to go through the Lands Commission. The Lands Commission is the only institution mandated by law. It's a creature of law to administer state lands and vested land. So the vested land is managed by government, which means Lands Commission. So most of cantonment lands, some in Ridge, are all vested in the state. And the president is holding it in trust for the...
Well, does that mean that the government can come for it anytime they...
No, it's vested in them. They don't own it. They are just managing it. Now, the next one is bought through compulsory acquisition, which we call eminent domain for public use. So, the example, Ridge Hospital, Parliament House. Those lands are acquired by the state. We call them state lands. That one, the state has absolute authority over those lands. They only compensate the owners, and it becomes the property of the state. We have family land, which is the clans are in charge of it, and the family head is the custodian.
Right.
To alienate land. Then we have the stool land. And it's important, Derek, it's important to know all these lands, because if you don't know and you want to buy family land, and the stool head comes and says, pay me, I'm the chief. That's one of the primary reasons for litigation. a chief does not alienate family land. It is the family head. A busuapeni is the one that signs. So if you go and buy a family land from a chief, litigation. If you go and buy a stool land from family head, litigation. If you go and buy a state land or a vested land from a family, you fall into litigation. So it's important to clarify this type of land.
These are some of the things that why it is important to
Seek to the professionals.
get the right people to get a job done, because it is so complicated to try to do it yourself with all the information you have at hand. So I've got something to read to you. So this is a stat that I saw on X some time back. It says that 78% of Ghanaians aged between the age 26 to 32 are unlikely to own their own homes in their lifetime. Why?
I would say that even in advanced world, the entire population does not own.
Yes, but 78% is quite a big number.
70% is alarming. I think that is changing. This data was from when?
I think it was about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's changing. I think that the current housing deficit still stands at 2 million plus.
But that's deficit. Yeah. This is ownership, right? The young person owning their home.
Yeah.
Because in the West, there are systems to allow them to own. Yeah. But there are some issues, right?
Yeah.
So what people are saying is that it's because of the cost of the lands and then also the buildings. And then that's the reason why a lot of them cannot own.
Derek, I'll start by saying that there must be a deliberate policy to expand. I'm so passionate about this topic because there must be a deliberate policy to expand real estate infrastructure around the country.
Okay.
And I'll explain that. Let's say you are from Akosombo. The road network to Akosombo and the other various means of transportation is in a good state. The banks, the industries are there. Are you going to come to Accra to come and seek greener pastures? We must decentralize the infrastructure so that we open up the country. That's why in Royal Kingdom, our vision is to build 1,000 acres of city in every region. That will become what? 16,000.
Right. I'm not cutting you, but I must say, what you've just said, you are doing. Right? Because I know one of your properties somewhere in Eburi. So you are doing it. So you are not just saying it.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. So what I'm saying is that so the big push, like what the government is doing now, is going to be very instrumental in this. Because once the travel time is reduced, we developers can now go into the outskirts where we can build at reasonable cost.
What does reasonable mean? If you built somewhere, let's say somewhere in Mampong, a 3-bedroom house, how much will it cost you and how much are you going to sell it?
So I'll say that affordability is not standardized.
Okay.
What is affordable to Derek?
I get it. I just want to know whether the person that is earning 5,000 cedis can afford your house in Mampong.
Yeah, I'm coming. So I think the issue about affordable housing can only be solved by the government.
Why?
Because they have control over a lot of things. So let's say government prioritizes affordable housing and says, no, it's important. Government says,
I'm upset.
Royal Kingdom Estate. That's coming. Rightly so. Government says, Royal Kingdom Estate. We can see that your real estate principle or vision goes beyond just developing high rise for high end of the market. So we are going to support you. We are building road to Suhum. We are building road to Winneba. We are building road to Dropon. So we are going to give you subsidy on every building material that you purchase. We are going to give you a tax holiday, a tax rebate. We want you to build and sell at this rate. We sit down, do the mathematics, and build at the barest minimum. People should be able to acquire real estate for 200,000 cedis, two bedrooms.
So I'm asking you the question, my fellow developer.
So until then,
can you do that for let's say 400,000 cedis? Can you build a 3-bedroom property somewhere in Mampong and sell it for that price?
You know, Akwatami. No, it's impossible.
It's impossible to build 3-bedroom. 3-bedroom. It doesn't have to be a story building.
No, you have to have alternative means. It means that you have to build with timber It will not be the best of architecture, but you can still do something. But again, what I want to say is that, you see, providing real estate is very expensive, right, in Ghana, because building materials are very expensive.
It's not because the developers are greedy.
No.
Somebody said, the last episode I had, somebody said that it's just because the developers are greedy.
In some cases, I may agree with them, but we must also be realistic. The return on investment on real estate in Ghana is one of the highest.
Okay.
So you have to look at the market, because if I want to develop and I go and they tell me a land in Chado is $250,000, cement is the same amount, they are selling it everywhere. How can I provide affordable housing? So this is what we have decided to do in a unique way. We have decided that our real estate philosophy is a tripartite one. I grew up at the countryside. So my first passion is to go into the bush, a place that nobody thinks is possible. Design a master plan that is approved by the local authorities. Parcel this land and do what we call land retailing. Now, when you acquire this land, you ask the question, 400,000 cedis. If you want to use 400,000 cedis to build your home, we design according to 400,000.
Oh, so then that means it's possible, right?
Yes.
Okay, so why don't developers do it and then sell it?
No, so we are going there. So you want to do it. So we design a home that is $400,000. Cedis. 400,000 cedis. You like it, we take you through all the process.
Yep.
And we build for you at your pace. That's why I said affordability is not standardized. So it means that, let's say if you have 100-acre development, people are going to have built according to their budget. And for us, in Royal Kingdom, that's what we have done. That has been our trump card.
Do you know what the young people are saying?
No.
This is a tweet from someone. They said that Ghanaians don't need the sort of homes that developers are building. What they need is that they want affordable single rooms, chamber and hall, right? Not the type of high rise that is happening that the diaspora are able to have. They have the money to be able to buy those. And what it's doing is that it's causing the local prices to increase while they cannot afford it.
I agree with them. That's why I said that once we expand the infrastructure, real estate infrastructure, the roads, for instance, people can go and live at Somanya.
Yes.
Can you buy a land in Cantonment for $1 million and build what you are talking about? I'm asking you.
No, you can't.
You can't. It's not realistic. We must be realistic. So what you do is to expand it to various parts of the country where people can live a very conducive and a very beautiful architecture, but still enjoying life. Because a private developer goes and acquire land. Hold on. They spoke about high rise. Mm-hmm. You buy a land in Cantonment for, let's say, $1 million or 800,000.
Yes.
Boss, can you build the very tiny homes on it? You have wasted the land.
But a lot of the properties they are selling to, half of them are empty.
I'll go there. People talk about real estate.
Yes.
They said location.
Yes.
I disagree.
Okay.
That is not the rule. The rule is vision. Dubai, 25 years ago, 20 years ago.
That's on a government level.
Now, I'm going there. It takes vision to create a location. It takes vision, that vision, to say, you know what? I'm going to Somanya. There's massive land there, reasonable price. The government is bringing the road and the infrastructure. Let me build for this market. People at the lower end of the market. So that vision will then transform the location into a beautiful location that people will see today. So if once we can have the infrastructure, boss, the banks will go there. Companies will go there.
Yeah.
So people don't need to come. Real estate is not expensive in Ghana.
It's not expensive.
Listen, it is expensive in Accra.
It's expensive in Eburi.
Beautiful. It's good that you've raised the issue of Eburi. So the young people and also a lot of people in Ghana, one of the challenges they have is access to capital to have mortgage and all that. Number two, some of our people, I have done real estate for long. When you take people, you are driving people to site. Once it's above 30 minutes or 20 minutes, they are shouting, it's far. There are people in Maryland that drive an hour, 2 hours. In other states, in other places in the UK, to London, to DC, to work. They don't complain. But our people, we don't have the resources. We must be able to also acquire where we can be able to acquire. And also at times, come together, acquire a property, let's say one plot of land. Share it among yourself. We don't like working together.
One plot, how many people? Like two people?
Yes,
right.
Even 4 people can acquire it. I can design a beautiful architecture on one plot for 4 different people.
All right, let's look at it. A plot of land, you divide it into 4.
Yes.
Right? And then share it among 4 people. So that plot that you're saying young people can go for, so they can, come together.
Yeah.
How much are you then going to sell? It says if
I have a land in a brewery that I'm selling.
Let me stop you here for a minute. So if it's your first time watching Connected Minds, or you have been here before but still have not subscribed, do us a favor, because majority of the people that watch our videos have not subscribed. This doesn't help us grow beyond what we expect. So help us by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you. Now let's get back to the conversation.
I have a land in a brewery that I'm selling, which is about 10 minutes from the brewery town. That's why I was going to go there.
Yeah.
That I'm selling 100,000 cedis.
Okay.
That's 25,000 cedis
Each
per person.
Right.
And what you can build, boss, look at this. You build a duplex, 2 duplex.
Yeah.
Or one person is at the down, the other person is at the down. 2 duplex, that's 4 people in one. But people have high appetite. They want to live in grand architecture, but they don't have the resources. That place, it can take you an hour to the capital city. But when the infrastructure is great, it takes you lesser. That is why I put premium on building the transportation system, which will have railways, which are different means of transportation. So that is what we are doing.
Somebody said,
Yeah.
he says that a lot of real estate developers in Ghana are earning about 70% on their development after sales.
Well, if that is it, we don't end that, but I think that's quite high.
Yeah, but
you can subsidize. I think you can subsidize a bit for the market. Derek, how much are you selling your unit at Cruise Homes? How much are you selling your unit, the one you're building?
So we have some of the units we are selling at, I think it's about 96, 97.
96, 97 what?
$1,000, yeah.
You know, that's like 1 million Ghana cedis.
Yep.
So you see?
Because that's in East Legon.
So that's exactly what I was saying.
15 minutes away from the airport.
Exactly. So you have to go to the outskirts and create a stunning real estate infrastructure for people. I believe that everybody within a certain income earning bracket is supposed to have a certain level of comfort when it comes to owning properties.
All right.
So we should create that. Options. Okay, if you go to advanced countries, I mean, those who are very wealthy, they live in a certain neighborhood. And with the greatest of respect, everybody has a certain economic strength.
Yeah.
You must play to your strength. So today, like I said, 100,000 cedis. If you spend 100,000, 4 of you acquire a plot of land, you build progressively, you have your own. When God blesses you, then you can move towards this high rise and all the things. But I cannot buy your $90,000. I still love my 400,000.
All right, cool. So there's another thing, right? The person who wants to start their own real estate company, just as you have, beautifully. Should young people consider real estate as a way of, building wealth for themselves? And I'm not talking investment. I'm talking about start setting up your own companies. Either it's letting agencies or...
The value chain is quite big. People don't know that those selling the hardware, they're actually in real estate.
When you say hardware, what do you mean?
Cement,
iron
bricks,
rods,
iron,
sheets.
They are part of the value chain. They are also doing real estate in a different way. When we talk about real estate, people think it's just the big mansions and all that. Few years ago, I think Cape Coast Technical University advertised that they are looking for developers to come and develop hostels and have build, operate, and transfer agreement. That is real estate. So the opportunity is there. So to respond to you, yes, you don't need money to go into real estate. What you do need is the ability to sell. Is the ability to what? Do marketing. So in the value chain, we have marketing firms that just create content. There are people who just create content for real estate brands. Through that, you make commission. Save the commission, and with time, buy one property. After selling those 5 acres, acquired an acre 2 acres, 3 acres. Start small. Don't start big. And you know, some of you see us today. We are at our harvesting stage. Many years ago, we were plowing the land. We were sowing, and we are reaping the rewards today. Real estate is not a quick fix. Real estate, if you like quick money, don't come into real estate. That's where you begin to do people, engage in scam. It takes time. It's a long-term game. Like I've been in this game for almost 9 years now. People are now getting to know of me.
Let me drop this down.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're looking back at your life, and now, are you happy with where you are?
Derek, I am the man that I dreamt as a young boy to be, because I have impacted lives. I have a foundation where I look after widows. It's fulfilling. I've employed people. We are currently building over 120 something properties for different clients and building our own as well. The amount of youth, Ghanaian youth, that are working in those developments, and I'm the source, I'm the bread basket for these homes, gives me that comfort, because there's nothing fulfilling than to build and create wealth where you are born. It is so fulfilling. So I'm happy. Are you happy?
I'm very happy, man. No, thank you so much. Look, I don't know how many of you have gotten to this point, but every time I have conversations with someone who is into real estate, I touch on several aspects, because I know I'm going to have another conversation, and there are more questions I have, but I don't want Danny to take it all. So I'm going to ask somebody else the questions. This is why you need to keep watching Connected Minds podcast. You know, I've stopped asking some questions at the end, purely because the answer is becoming clear that what people need is discipline more than motivation, right? The answer is becoming clear that other people are also saying that a combination of that is great.
Can I take a bite before you change it?
Go on.
A motivated, undisciplined person will be a perpetual ally of mediocrity and poverty. How many times have we seen athletes, musicians, gifted in different fields that have failed as a result of indiscipline? In the first 3 years of my business, today I'm looking clean. You like my dress? I'm looking good, right? First 3 years, I did not purchase even a handkerchief, because my goal was to increase my capital. And till all these years, we have never gone to the bank for a facility before. We have worked with IGF, internally generated funds. So discipline is key. Discipline is key.
Denny, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed the conversation. I knew I was going to enjoy it. It's taking you a while to come on the podcast because you said you didn't want to come on Connected Minds. But today you're here. Look, to my viewers and to my listeners, if you made it to the end, I really want to know in the comments. And thank you so much for staying here up until this point. You may hype the conversation, share this with somebody who really wants to understand how this whole process works. Because today, we almost told it all. Thank you. I'm out.